Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. So I started off by thinking what we consider the power to be. I don't know what you consider the power to be. Maybe you'd like to put your idea of that in the chat as I'm speaking. But as a spirit in the physical body, we're all energy, a life force. And if you think of an onion with all its many layers, well, that's us. And from birth right through to present day, each layer is impregnated with our thoughts, made up of our individual experiences, and more importantly, how we reacted to those experiences. Because each one of us reacts differently to similar or identical situations. And because we are unique, this is what sets us apart from one another. We may be able to share some similarities, but there's no one else quite like you. So you think your way, you act your way, you like your way, you dislike your way, and respond your way. All these things make you who you are, and you have your own personality and emotions. Oh, and of course, unless you were a twin, then we all look different as well. And from some or all of these characteristics, we can probably recognize and identify who we are. For instance, you can call or probably describe me to someone using all the above examples. From your perceived description, I could be identified. So I use the word perceived because your description of me will be unique to you. Your way of seeing and understanding things about me. To someone who thinks differently, they may have difficulty agreeing with you. So it may help to bring in a circumstance, something like, oh, you know, she was always first in the school races. Ah, yes, I know now. Now, during physical life, we have many bodies. Firstly, the body of a baby, then of a young child, a teenager, adult, and then the body that we have at this moment, because everything is subject to change, which implies that our way of thinking can change. And as we think is who we are, then the person you thought I was then is not the person I am today. So when we're set free from our physical frame, our soul is released, and along with our personality, made up from all sorts of things, we live in a world of much finer vibration, where our thoughts are expressed mind to mind. The language we use in the spirit world is the language of emotion. We deliver our feelings, message, and philosophy through our individual expression of emotion, as we see it, as we believe it to be, in our unique way, to the people the message is intended. Now, when a spirit visitor has the opportunity to speak to or communicate with a loved one, they usually do this through someone who has mediumistic abilities. And some people train themselves as mental mediums to raise their awareness from physical to perceive visitors from the finer vibration of the spirit world. And they become the representatives of that visiting spirit, passing on the information received. But it's during the passing on process that many times this becomes distorted. Now, remember, I just said that we perceive people in our own way. We understand that except for our physical body, we do not change during the transition from physical life to spirit life. Only our bodies change. We are still that same serious or nutty person. The only thing now is that our communication is through emotion. We express what we want the medium to say through our individual, free-thinking, unique emotion, which is now being received by another unique, independent, free-thinking individual, you, who will deliver in one of two ways. They will either deliver the perceived message as it's received, word for word, emotion by emotion, with probably 90 to 90% accuracy, or they'll become involved with the information and change it all to make sense to them before delivering it to the intended recipient. 1% accuracy. But not understanding can interfere with the delivery and distort the meaning and will not be recognized by the recipient. But good training can overcome any desire to interfere or change with what is being received. Now, have you noticed that most ladies, particularly mothers and grannies who come from the spirit world, we found they're always beautiful, sweet and lovely, aren't they? Oh, I've got a lovely lady here. I've got a sweet lovely here. She's beautiful. Well, I have known and worked with quite a lot of battle axes in my time, and certainly wouldn't recognize any of them as being described as sweet. So, if the communicating spirit is showing themselves with a frown, glaring eyes, holding a frying pan above the head ready to strike, then it is the medium's responsibility to give what they've been given, because that forms part of the message, the proof, and the spirit communicator knows that from that descriptive memory they will be recognized instantly. But perhaps we must also consider as well that they haven't forgot what their wife, husband, mother, father looks like. She's there in the front row wearing red. Can you let her know I'm here? That's what usually happens, but blinded and falls on deaf ears to a medium who is trying to work information out before delivering it. So how do we work with that energy now? Now we understand that this is real, unique person with their own message and their own way of proving their identity, providing evidence of their continuation of their life. We cannot take control of someone else's thoughts. There's a 99% chance of not understanding anything you are receiving, but the message and information is not for you to know, but to give away. So let's feel that energy and the closeness of that visiting spirit. Get to know them, welcome them, take on their individuality, feel their personality, their real person, relying on you to get it right for them. Describe the way that they're presenting themselves. Look at what they're showing you. Oh, she's wearing a hat with writing on and laughing. And your next communicator, well, they'll have their own unique personality, totally different from the last. But most of what is important of all is to let them speak, because they are unique and they have a voice. So I'm looking in the chat box now, and I can't see anybody's comments on what you perceive energy to be. So, Dawn, what do you perceive energy to be? I don't know if any of you want to put in the chat box now. Well, all right, I shall go round you individually. John, what do you perceive when you're linking with the spirit world? What are you looking for?
Well, to feel them. So the connection.
Yeah, and how do you feel them What happens to you?
How do I feel? I feel them come into my back. I feel that in my back.
Did you
Sometimes my
feel the
crown
heat?
chakra. I
Is it a
feel
heat?
heat.
Right.
Yeah, I feel tingling in my back and a heavy sensation as well.
And that's every time?
No, sometimes my crown chakra, I feel that opening up and the pressure, and it's like
So would you say that these are
I think that they differ.
yeah,
Differs, yes.
but you recognize them and you're comfortable with them and you think,
Yes.
right, I know what's happening, this would happen next.
Yes.
I know what's happening, this would happen next. Yeah. Does anybody else fall on that comfort of receiving an energy a certain way?
When I link with spirit, I obviously higher my energy level to meet theirs, and immediately they show me videos.
Oh yeah.
And so I can see what's going on in someone's house, or and the individuals as well as the family. So all the time I'm getting this information coming through.
But are the videos of the recipient or the spirit person?
The spirit person.
Right, okay.
So the spirit person connects with me and shows me videos, but at the same time, I'm sometimes seeing them, and I'm getting an energy from them where they're desperate to communicate with the person sat in front of me, because they want to get a message over that, first of all, that they're all right, and that the person sitting in front of me I mustn't worry if they witness that the death of the spirit. I'm to reassure my sitter.
So when you're being shown the videos and you're feeling in this higher energy, do you describe to the sitter what you're seeing?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
And are they able to recognize the pictures from your description?
Sometimes.
Why do you think not always?
Because it depends on the age of the sitter.
Right.
They're not, if it's a younger person,
yeah,
they don't know the history of their ancestors, or people, their relations that fought in the war.
So why do you think that they show them videos or show you videos of something they don't understand?
Well, usually the spirit wants them to know that they're being looked after, they're being watched and helped through this material life.
Right.
And although this person doesn't know them, they then go back to ask an older person in the family, or someone in the family.
And it's confirmed.
Yeah, yes.
Right, I got you. Yeah.
And extraordinary thing I had once. Person in spirit, I think it was this lady's father, and he brought in 2 Labradors, so I think it was with Ali, but he took a photograph of himself to give to me to give to them. Now, I've never experienced that before. They took a photograph in spirit of him with his 2 Labradors.
Right, so you actually saw him having a photograph taken.
Yes, all added there and everything.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah, lovely. Excellent, thanks for sharing that. And Lorraine, you said symbolic, so you get symbolisms.
Sometimes I get symbolic, but you get things that are so far out there that it's a symbolic message. I feel it, I hear it, see it. When I'm connecting to spirit, the air around me somehow gets lighter. You feel the change in the air around you.
Yeah.
And that I know that spirit are with me at that point. And I also have a calling card that if I'm going to work, that I have a calling card that they have to stroke my face, and I know it's them.
Yeah. And have you noticed that we're all talking about something that makes us comfortable?
Yes.
And that we're familiar with.
Yes.
So that by being familiar with the contract, the link, if you like, by knowing that what you get that and Sue gets that and Dawn gets that, knowing that when we get these things, we're confident that it's a definite link.
Yes.
And many years ago, my legs used to just shake crazy like that, bounce. I'd be on a platform and they would be bouncing. And I used to say to myself, that's it, that's my sign that spirit are here. And then one day I thought, do I really need this now? Haven't I outgrown this? So I just said, okay, I know you're just going to stop that because I feel right stupid sitting here, my legs going like crazy. And they did. They stopped it for me. So I'm not saying to stop what you're doing because obviously you're very comfortable with it. But can you see how kind the people in the spirit world are? They want us so much to represent them that they will do anything to please us.
Yeah. And I think with me, I can feel them walk into my energy. That's what it is. That's the feeling of walking in. And I thought, right, okay.
And do you feel the difference in the different people? The energy, you get a man, a woman, a child, strong person, weak person. Yeah. Brenda, were you saying something?
Yes.
Yes. I feel very much the same, really. I really get really hooked when my guide and spirit come really close, and I get my nose, it itches really, really a lot, and my face and my hair.
Yeah.
And also I get this feeling, a knowing.
Yeah.
A knowing. And I know what I'm going to say is okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, really, but I just get this knowing feeling. Yeah.
I'm glad you touched on knowing, because when over the years that I've been teaching, you know, we all know about the clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, but I always say don't worry about them because it's clair knowing.
Yeah, and that's with me now. I was clairaudient really strongly. I've been all through that, and now it's just a knowing instead.
But if you say I'm clairaudient, but I'm not clairsentient, I think you're limiting.
You're using everything. Yes, that was my strongest at first. I think they go through all the stages. I think all the clairs.
I wouldn't worry about stages at all. I would just know that it's clear knowing. For instance, you'll see people saying, I don't hear or see, I just know.
Yeah.
So I have a lady here and she's got the most lovely hair, but how does she know? She's 5'2" and there's a man standing next to her 6 foot. How did she know?
Yeah,
She's
how do we know?
So she is clairvoyant, but they can't see it. It's if you think of it as under the umbrella of clair knowing, which you're all saying you do.
So I think we're using all our senses, aren't we? We're using all our senses, combining them.
And each visiting spirit person will touch on the individual senses that they can work with as well. You know, they because they are unique and they are a person. They are, sometimes when people say I link with an energy, I wonder if they've forgotten that that's not just an energy, it's a person. And if you always remember that whatever you're being shown, symbolisms or different energies, different aches, pains, just knowing that all that is being given to you for a purpose, because waiting here is a person. Just like you and I, just like in the introduction, you know, we're unique. We think in a certain way, we act in a certain way, we do everything uniquely. So if I was to die now, this second, I am still that same person. So when I come through to you as a medium, your guides will say, well, hang on a second, Margaret. With Susan, you've got to show her a bit of a video of your life. She's comfortable with that, and then she'll work. With Dawn, you have to make sure that you either come in through the chakras, arouse that. She's happy with that. with Lorraine. Show Lorraine some symbolisms. So I'm having to work to your satisfaction. You are not working for my satisfaction initially, right? I am having to please you. So now I've got through to you. Oh, thank goodness for that. So now I feel as if I've got a female energy. Right. Oh, no, I'm getting all excited now because we're actually getting there. So if you think about taking yourself back a couple of steps now, and when you decide to work, when you say, right, this is it, like Lorraine says, I get this magic, right? I know somebody wants to speak. That is a person. Now, for those who've been in my classes before, the first thing I say to anyone who I get a slight awareness or a change in my awareness, I go, oh, hello, how can I help you? I don't look for anything else because they know what I can do, because they with my guides, their guides, everybody in the spirit world got together and said, I know a medium will be in the same room as your mother on Tuesday. Oh, really? Yeah. But I'm telling you now, if you don't come with your name, address, and telephone number, she won't speak to you. Right? Because you're forgetting that you must have a standard yourself, and that standard has to be met by the communicating spirit person. Now we're cooking on gas, right? Because it's not one-sided. They're not having to wait for you, and you are not expecting X, Y, Z from them, right? You're saying, I will work, but it has to be this way. They know exactly how you want to work, and they come in and you go, there's a gentleman just walked in, he's sitting over there, he's looking at me, he's got the biggest nose I've ever seen. On the side here, there's this wart that comes out like this. He's laughing his head off because he's not particularly handsome man. You see, we're not making him absolutely beautiful, stunning, gorgeous. Oh, he's lovely, because he's not. We haven't got to his personality, which he might have a great personality. But what I am being shown at the moment is him. It's like if I said to you, describe me. You just look at me and you go, oh, she's this, she's wearing glasses, she's got that. So it's what you can see at that minute. And that's exactly the same you do when you got your link with the spirit world. Exactly the same. Don't wait for anything else. You go, oh, hang on. Oh, I got all these tingles. I got this and that. It's all happening. So I know someone's knocking on the door of my conscious awareness. They're going, right, let me in. Oh, hang on a second. I haven't had my little video yet. I haven't had this. I haven't had that. Yeah. I can't start until I've got all this. Well, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And maybe seeing the video, if you talk it out, could be quite phenomenal, couldn't it? Especially if you said, Margaret, I'd like to come to you, and I'm being shown a shed, a railway carriage in a big field with a family in it. I go, oh my God, that's amazing, right? And it accepted it. Well, we're going back here, and if that takes you in to being able to allow the spirit person to speak, and in that delivery, in the way they're going to deliver themselves, proves their continuation of life by what they say, then that's the job done, isn't it? Because this is the main reason for mediumship, is to prove to the recipient that their loved one lives on. And that's done by giving information which is turned into evidence. Any questions so far? Have I confused anybody? So to recap, there's nothing wrong in receiving tingling, pains, heat and tingling in the chakras, videos, energy, symbolism, and hot noses. Everybody can feel a spirit person. They either go hot, cold, tingling, because that's them knocking on your conscious awareness. It's like them knocking on your front door. And if I was to knock on your front door, what would be the first thing you said when you answered it? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. But do you ever greet that spirit person? You know, do you ever say hi? It's nice of you to come. Lorraine's nodding yes, Dawn's nodding yes.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
thank
nice.
you, and thank you, and I'm always happy and grateful.
Yeah, because it's a partnership that we're entering into, isn't it?
Yes.
They are entering into a partnership with us. They need us. So it's. I tell you another thing that's quite useful as well. Is if you know you're going to work and to link with the spirit world, is to go into a committee room with you guys, just have a little 5 minutes quiet and go into a nice little box room and just say, look, I'm prepared to work for this evening, but you'll have to tell whoever's communicating up their game, because you know I want it to be spot on for the recipient. I haven't got time to mess about. There's going to be a lot of people there, so on the ball, please. And there you are. You've sent your intent.
Yeah.
Might be rather unorthodox to most mediums do it. I don't know. They might sit in the power for half an hour and say nothing to nobody, but that's what I do. 5
Stay with
minutes.
me, intention. That's it.
Yeah.
I said, I want it
don't
all,
mind.
please. I need everything.
I don't mind doing it for you if you do it for me. So yeah, Lorraine, is that making all sense to you there?
Yes, perfect sense. Yes.
Excellent, good. Brenda?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, Susan, yeah? Yeah, and Barbara's afraid to say no. Hi, Carolyn, is any of that resonating with yourself? Yeah, and Dagmar. I know that Dagmar is healing, predominantly healing, isn't it? But does it the same applies with healing, doesn't it? With the direction of healing energy. Do you have a sort of knowing who's with you? Certain healers like surgeons or eye specialists, or
I don't differentiate, but I feel the energy. When the energy is there, when I connect with the energy,
yeah.
and feel it in the room. And the same with mediumship. Yeah.
So when we say energy, who are we talking about? Do we know who that energy belongs to?
No, for me, it's not a personal energy. It's just the highest energy that I can link into. I just try to bring my awareness to the source and then be a channel of that source of the highest energy possible.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Right, okay. Anybody else? I know that Liz, Liz, do you have any questions so far on that? You know, you're not developing medium, but how does it fall on your way of thinking?
I'm understanding what you're saying, and everything sounds good.
Yeah. Because even though you're not a developing medium, you do have awareness of moods of people and situations that you know, maybe somebody's had a quarrel or something. You can walk into a room and you can feel what's wrong, don't you?
Yeah, pretty sensitive that way. Yeah.
And that is your energy, which is like the onion. You know, we're expanding as each year that goes by, another layer, another experience. So we're expanding, and you don't have to be standing next to someone to feel their energy, because everybody has energy. Everybody has the onion. So you can walk into a room and there could be somebody, you know, 20 feet away, and straight away you can go, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And that's happened to a few occasions, hasn't it? So developing your mediumistic ability is always there. We don't think we have to develop it by even sitting with anybody, because it's a knowing with you, isn't it? So you're developing just by living, just by being aware that there is something more than the physical existence.
Yeah.
And Helen, you've been around a long time. No, that didn't sound very nice, did it? You've been around this kind of thing a long time, knowing your awareness. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And weren't you, was it your grandmother or auntie, did they have some kind of spiritual or mediumship knowledge with maybe tea leaves and kind of stuff, healing remedies?
Well, we're all healers, aren't we? Really.
What's
But
that? We'd all.
we're all healers in a way, are we not?
Yeah.
Some can just take it further because they have that knowing and understanding of how they can do that. I started off with healing, and mediumship came into it because I was directed where to go and what to do and what bits to, to touch and what not to touch. And I became fascinated by that. So I'm more into mediumship now than I am in healing, although I can still do that.
Yeah.
But I find that with the healing side of things, as you develop, because you're developing all the time, I get more and more sensitive.
Yeah.
And you're quite right of what you say when you go into a room. You can walk into a room and know immediately if there has been an argument in that room or if there's been a big celebration, by the feel of the room. It affects you that way. It's the same when you're with someone who requires healing. I find that I'm immediately drawn to that area, but as I say, mediumship became more into it. It seems to have taken over that side of it. So I'm exploring that with great interest at the moment.
Good luck.
Oh, I'll need it all.
It's unique as we are unique, so our development is unique, isn't it? And there's no time to our development. There's no age to our development. It's continuous. And I know Barbara there is a working medium as well. And how do you find mediumship at the moment, Barbara, compared to a year ago, say?
I find now that I am just more knowing than I used to be, and the spirit sort of overshadow. And I usually, once I've made the connection with the recipient, I usually just completely step out of it, if I don't know if that's the right word, and allow them their voice.
Yeah.
So it's almost sort of a semi-trance.
Yeah, good.
So
that's how I've developed over the years, is to step to one side. And how I do that is to become aware of my physical presence, and then think, oh, it's just a knowing something's going on. So then I take myself and I see myself standing to my left.
that's it.
And then I just stay there. And then I'm watching myself speaking.
And you've got no idea of what you're actually saying.
You know what's coming, but you don't know what's been said.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like that.
Yeah.
It's easier because then you give the spirit world the voice.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You don't intervene at all.
Yeah, as I say, that's sort of that's come about more or less in the last year or so for me, that it's more like that than just getting evidence. And as I say, I find once I've got the evidence and connected with the recipient, I can just then step out of it, as you say, and allow them in.
Excellent. Yes, Susan.
Margaret. Now, I was on a walk recently, a short walk, and this man overtook me. He was walking he was around about 30, 40, something like that. And he was walking ahead of me, striding ahead of me. And as he passed me, Spirit said to me, he's a warrior. And I had to speak to him. But I was walking slowly and he was striding ahead. Anyway, as I turned the corner, he had stopped. And he was resting his haversack or whatever it was on a bench and tying some shoelaces up or something. And I had this urge that I had to talk to him. So I said, are you a warrior? He said, yes, he said, I was in the army, but I'm not now. And I think he was, had, a problem where he had to leave. But he said, I'm on a walk for the heroes on Sunday. Yeah, for Sunday. And I'm walking for all my comrades. And I said, well, as you passed me, I saw a lot of your comrades that had passed with you, walking with you. And they will be with you on this walk on Sunday. And he said, I can't believe it. He said, thank you so much. And he took my hand and shook my hand. And he said, you've given me so much help and comfort and the energy to go on.
Wow.
What it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, and I thought, I had to speak to him.
And how fortuitous that he was able to accept what you gave him, isn't it?
Yeah. But I don't think Spirit would have let me.
No.
Yeah, contact him or speak with him if he wasn't open.
Yeah.
Everything. A warrior. They said he's a warrior.
Oh, love him.
Oh yes. And as he was walking away from me, I was trying to catch him up. Well, I wasn't really trying to catch him up. And I saw his mates with him in spirit. They showed me the desert. They showed me Afghanistan. They showed me various other places that he'd been. And when he was doing up his shoelaces, and I said, were you, I've seen Afghanistan. I've seen deserts with you. And he said, yes. And he named various places that he had been.
Lovely.
Amazing.
It is amazing. You know, sometimes, Susan, when they're giving you this stuff, you know, it's not for you, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It is for you to give him. So, yeah.
And that's really, really helped him for this very long walk March he was doing in and from London on that Sunday some weeks ago.
Right. Good. Well, job done, I'd say.
Job done.
And Carolyn is a trance medium, for those who don't know. So, Carolyn, when how does your awareness begin? What sort of tinglings do you get?
I usually get auditory. I usually hear, and I also get photographs. I'll get images, and usually I'll get a combination of the hearing and the images that I put the picture together. When I'm doing trance work, I just try and get as quiet as I can be, and then if I hear something, if it's repeated to me 2 or 3 times, then I know it's spirit, not just me.
Yeah.
And once I start to speak, then I get out of the way, and then they just start speaking. And then it becomes, for me, it's always hard to start because I have no idea what, and my skepticism, I go, well, is it me or is it them? But I've got used now to the fact that they'll repeat it 2 or 3 times, and then I just trust and say it. And I have no idea what the next thing is going to be. And then they'll just continue on a theme that they've chosen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And listening to your own voice initially when you begin is difficult as well, isn't it? Especially using words that in an order that you wouldn't necessarily put them yourself.
Yeah. Hearing my voice is that was so long ago. That doesn't really bother me. My voice changes. I tape it. So I can then record it later. And the people I sit with 2 people who help sort of strengthen the connection, and they tell me that my voice changes. It gets slower. I stop doing umming and ahhing, which I tend to do in normal life. And sometimes my voice gets slightly deeper. And I will use words I don't normally use.
Yeah.
Words will come out, and sometimes I'll look them up. And think, well, what was that word meaning? Most recently, I heard the word hodafez, and I said it. and it turned out it was Iranian for peace.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Yeah.
Well done you, because the spirit world and the communicators that come through from there are only able to use what vocabulary and the education that we have ourselves. And this is why, as a developing medium, we're also encouraged to read, to know different words, and to have an understanding, a general understanding of things. Because unless the word is in there, like Carolyn said, you know, it can be difficult. You won't say it. And then perhaps that message loses that expression or the meaning. So they have to find another word for it. And there's not always another word that they want to use, because they can only use what we give them. So they can only use what we have got. And that's something that we forget. So if you have like a surgeon, for instance, that wants to come through and say to your recipient, you understand that you're going for a hospital appointment tomorrow, and all of a sudden a surgeon comes through to you and starts talking all this medical stuff.
That's what I've got all that. I've had that for years, and medical books and books of it, and I've
do you understand medical stuff, Dawn?
No.
You don't.
No, they would go through that. I'd look at the body, and they'd go through and explain in medical terms.
Yeah. So and you can imagine then somebody who's as a nurse. Carolyn was a nurse, so if a doctor came to her, there's a good chance that she would know what they're talking about, and therefore be able to deliver the information accurately.
Yeah.
Whereas we might stumble. I can't stand blood, right? So when they show me the inside of someone, they show me pipes and things. I don't want to see veins. They just go, there's something coming from your heart, that's going down your leg. You know, that'll do. So that's what they have to put up with me. But with Carolyn, they could talk to her till the cows come home.
Yeah, that's what they do to me as well.
Yeah. So
I write as well, and I've no idea why. I write poetry, I write philosophy. It just flows. I don't know what I'm writing. So I think doing that.
Do you know who's writing with you?
Different my guys, different ones.
Yeah. Have you sort of greeted them?
I'll have conversations with them as well, and they'll tell me, speak to me all differently. Someone else will come through, and others, and
because I'm never too worried about my guys having an identification. Is the feeling that I get with them.
Yes.
Different.
I automatically know who they are. Which one it is.
Yeah, that's right. And acknowledge through the feeling, and also know when there's a new guy that pops in as well. I go, hello, who are you? Different energy, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's a different person.
I think with energy as well. I think when you practice in healing as well, you do notice that as well, the different energy,
different people.
So, but I hear it as well when they're talking. I hear them as well. So
yeah, because they're real. They're more alive than ever. But when we talk about energy in future, always remember you're talking about a person.
Yes.
I hear lots of novices saying, I'm sitting in the power. What do you mean? And they can never really tell you what they mean by sitting in the power. Helen, what do you consider sitting in the power is?
Well, if you're sitting in the power, I suppose you're putting yourself to one side so that you're being attentive to what's around you.
That's the word I like, attentive. Yes.
Yes, because if you're attentive and ready to receive, we'll say, you can pick up the things that begin to come through. You know, it's like feeding.
Yes.
It's like giving you nourishment.
Yeah. And Brenda, how long, Brenda, would it take you to receive sitting in the power, as Helen has described? How long would it take you to receive, acknowledge that there's somebody there?
Not too long, because I like to blend. When I get the blending, I know that I've connected.
What do you mean by blending? What does
Blending
that
my energy with the spirit, with my guide.
becoming one?
Yeah, becoming one. And I think by sitting in the power, you're getting to know yourself as well. This is what happens to me, because I think personally you've got to know yourself doing this work first, and the love for yourself, so you can give the love through the messages, through the healing. And I'm a big believer in working on yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I never sat in a development circle. I came through, I suppose, spirit taught, really. And when you say you get to know yourself, there was years when they used to knock on my subconscious door and call my name and knock doors and windows, and there'd be nobody there. There's years they did that. They opened my car doors one day when I was driving up a hill, little 1100. They opened one door and the other door. Of course, I was only about 18, so I giggled, you know. I don't think they do anything that would have scared me. So I don't know what myself was at that stage, right? I can understand what you're saying, get to know yourself, but I didn't know myself, being myself then. I just knew there was people and they were trying to talk to me. So going back to the beginning, when we all have our individual little ways of opening up, closing down, sharing, communicating, being with, all those expressions. The way I look at it, and I think we should all go, is how can we help these people that no longer have a physical voice, but through their power of suggestion, they're penetrating my conscious awareness as I become aware of them. How can I help them? And that's getting to know yourself, I think, is by saying, how can I help you? What is it you want me to do? And more often than not, all they say is, can you please say this? Like Susan had the message there, please tell him he's a warrior, tell him this. And many of us, like Liz, for instance, she feels things and could probably say a lot more than she does if she had the confidence. Dagmar knows when she's with an energy, the higher source that reaches. Carolyn knows when the time is to let go, and so on. We all know. But from that knowing, we must develop. We can't stay there. We have to develop more. And to do that, yes, you have to know yourself, but by now we should know our own capabilities. And once the spirit world are confident that we are happy, because we'd say, I got you, I understand now, right? Then we'll move on a step further. And we will attract more guides who have studied more, who have more experience again in different fields that suit our respective developments, right? We're not all going to have the same kind of guides. We're not all in the same direction of development. But there are people waiting in the wings for us to develop even further. So we have to have a certain amount of intelligence towards what we're doing, a belief, an understanding, a purpose, and getting to know ourselves is one of those. And once we've reached that stage, which it all seems as if you have, then it's time to move on. We don't stagnate, we move on. And what we mean by doing that is we start saying to the spirit world, right, I know you're here. You need to show yourself, otherwise I can't describe you. Ah, that's better. Right, so hello, good evening, sir. How can I help you? Well, my name's Jeffrey. Thank you, Jeffrey. Margaret, pleased to meet you. What's up? I've come to speak to my daughter. Where is she? She's there, front row, red jumper. And her name is Helen. So could I come to the lady in the front there, please? I have a gentleman here says he's Jeffrey, says he's calling you his daughter and he's calling you Helen. Yeah, that's right. What's wrong with that? Now you might say, oh, I could never do that. It's because you don't do it. It's not that you've never done it. It's you don't do it. You've never thought about working that way. You've always gone on the old routine. I have a lovely lady here. She's your mother. No, she might not be lovely, my mother. Do you know what I mean? So, yes, okay, I've got a mother here. Hang on a second. Wait a minute now, calm down. What's your name? Oh, nobody's asked me that before. It's Margaret. Hiya, Margaret. How can I help you? Who have you come to speak to? My husband's there. He's with his new wife. Oh, and how do you feel about that? Great. So let's go there, Margaret. I'd like to come to the gentleman there. I'm sorry I'm pointing, but I haven't got your name at the moment. But I do know that I have your wife with me here, and she's aware of the lady next to you being your new wife. Right? Now, as you've said that, she will give you the most wonderful feelings. And with those feelings, the whole mood of you will change. And then you can say, oh, hang on a second. You spoke about this before passing. Yes, we did. And she agreed, didn't she? This lady that you're with is her best friend. Marion. Yes, that's my name. You see, they will give you what's needed. And the more that you give yourself, the more that you know yourself, your own capabilities, and you realize that we need to take my mediumship further now. I've been accepting a lady far too long. I've been accepting, does anybody know this lady, far too long. What's the matter with me? Why haven't I thought about asking her name? Why haven't I thought about asking her, where did you live? Show me your house. Take me in your house. Susan has shown these things sometimes, which is wonderful. But do we look at the person? Do we look for moles on their faces? Do we look if they got glasses, no hair, some hair, big nose, bulbous nose? Look at their faces, look at their features. But most of all, let them speak. It's such a wonderful experience being a medium. But what's more wonderful is seeing the recipient's face when it's all been accepted, isn't it? When you see the pain draw from them, just fade away. I came tonight to know that my mother was okay. And there's only one thing she said to me, because I'd like to come to the lady there in the front row, and I just have to say to you, daffodils. That was the word that my mother said. If she came back, she would say, job done. Would you have the confidence to do that and to say it? Or would you analyze it and say, just one word, daffodils, that doesn't make sense to me.
Not meant to.
Exactly, Dawn, yeah. But more often than not, we'll go, And then we put it this way. Can you understand? You like daffodils, apparently. And the lady's going to go, yes, I do. But, oh, right, okay. Because I've got a lady here, and all she said was like, well, I don't know what she said, because I didn't see anything but a daffodil. But it's the way that you're putting it over, rather than doing exactly what was said, powerful.
That's what my guides taught me a long time ago. They said, you repeat word for word.
Yeah.
And I've always just repeated word for word. Nothing
It's
more.
like that quiz shows, they'd say what you see.
Yeah.
Yes, Susan.
I had a lady that came sitting before me, and I was able to link in with her. I was linking in with her and spirit, and I think I said, look, I have to give you what I see and what I'm told. And I said, I've got to give you banana and banana cake. Well, she nearly fell off her chair because she said, that means so much to me. My sister, who lived in Australia, was murdered in Australia some years ago. And she made banana cakes
Yeah.
See, and I just say to them, look, you know, I've got an orange here and it means this, but like I just said to her, it's banana cake, I'm giving it to you. And then she was able then to realize.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works, isn't it?
Well, yes, that's right. I couldn't, you know, you mustn't think about it, must give. And it always works that way. Can I just tell you another story?
Go on then.
I used to sit in a circle in Weston-super-Mare with Nan Simpson and various other people. And we were called the Three Musketeers. There was Nan Simpson, who was a really super medium, and another friend of mine called Gladys. And it was only last year, Gladys had died about 12 years ago. And it was only last year I said to Gladys, I haven't heard from you, Glad, for many years. I said, nobody's given me your name. I said, please give me some proof. Well, I couldn't believe it. 2 days later, I was at Lydney Harbour and been to the harbour. I was in the car. My friend was driving and I had the dog with me. And the railway crossing came down. So wait, I can't believe this. And a train went by and the name on it was Gladys.
Oh.
And, you know, my friend said, look at that train. He said, it's called Gladys. At Lydney.
Put you in the right place at the right time.
Well, that's right. She made it happen.
I think sometimes as well as we move on in our mediumship and we start to raise our standard away from like everybody else does it. Don't be like everybody else. Don't use the same cliches, you know, especially the one, thank you for working with me. I have no idea what that means because why are you thanking them?
Yeah.
They haven't done anything. You done all the work. But presentation, if you can look in the mirror, write down something like what the normal message that you would give, if you like, and write it down and then deliver it to the mirror. And you watch how awful that is. So we need to work on presentation. Sometimes we use too many words, more words than the spirit person will give you. The visualization must only be theirs. They'll show you a picture, a boat. You might add green boat, you might add blue boat, and that takes it away, doesn't it? So your presentation is so important. So we've moved up now. We've said to the spirit bird, right, I'm prepared now to move on with my mediumship. Margaret smacked our hands tonight, and we've all been told, right, we're up a class. So we're all moving up now to university of our mediumship. We're the first year in university. And we're looking now for names. So you go, oh my goodness me, I never get names. Do you ask? Have you ever asked? Have you ever said, what's your name? They'll give it to you, but they'll be so shocked because they very rarely come across mediums who do that. But they will give it to you. I can remember being in West Wales once, and the lady, I said, there's a gentleman here, he's saying that he was in the photograph that you looked at yesterday. Oh, hang on, I said, I'll ask him his name. And he gave me his first name and his last name. Say it was Paul Challenger. And she went, oh yeah, that's right. Now, yes, it was wonderful, but I only asked for it and he gave it. There's nothing more wonderful than him giving you his name. But you see, you need to push your mediumship up there. You must stop. Go on, Dawn.
Can I ask? Well, I was, you know, way ahead as well, you know, doing well for years, and then I took a gap, you know, due to, you know, family passings, many of them. And it's like I'm coming back, but you know, from there to now, and I think, oh my God, it's like the confidence is gone, and it's like I'm nowhere near any kind of standard anymore.
Well, you can't put a standard on your own mediumship.
Yeah, I always call myself a secretary. I always say I'm a spirit secretary. That's it. I just speak
Yeah,
for them, you
yeah.
know.
Gopher, I am.
Yeah, I'm just a secretary. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You see,
Yeah.
well, if our minds are occupied, particularly when we think we're going to work or something, if our
Yeah,
minds are
okay.
occupied,
As well.
then we stop in the flow.
Yeah,
You see, when you always say when you're thinking, you're not linking.
yeah,
They need an empty vessel, if you like. They don't want you to be thinking. That's why it's easy when you're just having a cup of tea with someone, and then they come in gradually. They got you, and you go, oh, hang on. Oh, hang on a second. We got a visitor here. Hiya, who's this? How can I help you? My name's Jeff. What do you want, Jeff? And it's the same when they know you're going to work. If you're on a platform, if you're doing a private
yeah.
sitting,
Well, I
healing.
work full time in Tesco, and that's what they do. They stop all the time because I'm always giving, you know, information away, or someone to say, "Oh, my dad, and he's there," and so, but it's just, you know, and I feel confident when I'm giving it that, but it's always my self-doubt. It's me. It's not them. I've got all my faith in spirit, but it's just me.
The thing is, you see, if we had a book to read, we could practice it, couldn't we? But you have no idea what we're going to say, or even when we're saying it, what it means half the time. You can't know what you're saying because you have no idea what the spirit person wants to say to their recipient. We have
Yeah.
no idea.
No, not so much that. I mean the confidence in me to give. Well, I used to do so many readings, and now when people ask me, I just shy away and think, oh, all the time.
So what I would do then, if that was me, I would just sit in my committee room with those that I feel comfortable with and ask them to sort me out.
Yeah, I do. They always tell me off.
Yeah, you
They
know.
always tell me off. Say, come on, Dawn, you either lose it or you use it or lose it, and
Well, you'll never lose it. That's an
yeah.
impossibility.
No, they just
Yeah.
tell me. They just like, come on, because I do feel like I've lost that.
Don't forget, there's a time and a place, and they have their reasons. There's a time and a place for everything, and our development as well. It depends on circumstances around us, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions from anyone?
Thank
Brenda,
you.
you all right there?
Yes, yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Liz, I've learned
go on. Yeah. Go on,
Margaret.
Brenda.
Yeah, I've learned a lot.
Good. Lorraine?
Yeah, can I ask a question? You know, like people have just been touching on that if they're in places and they're giving out random messages, where does that stand with the ethics of medium? Because for me, I have done it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not accusing anybody or putting fingers, but I question myself: am I working from ego now, or is it spirit's work?
Yeah, I think that's down to the individual. How do you feel about that, Dawn?
That's it's my workspace. I know practically everybody, so I'm comfortable, and they know, or they'll come to me and they'll say, "Oh, Dawn, I had this feeling today. Was it?" And then I'll connect straight away. But I won't impose them. But sometimes, you get a pushy spirit. You know, that you might get a pushy person, and their energy is so strong and it's overwhelming, and you've got to give it because they'll keep on, and I'll feel their pain and everything. And I think just take it all away. I'll give the message when I finish this, when I finish my work, then I'll pass it on. But so you get the odd one like that. But I don't impose on. If I was out in the middle of nowhere, I wouldn't do it.
We are the master of our own ships, and if there's anyone from the spirit world who is intruding on your privacy or the privacy of someone else, then it's up to you as the medium to say, wrong time, wrong place, call back.
Yeah, I say step back. I'll do it when it's my time, when I'm able to. Yeah.
But and that's what you mean, Lorraine, yeah?
Yeah. Because that's just my own personal thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Because I know that people have got common sense, and you won't go and overstep boundaries and things like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it in the streets, just walking along, and I would.
And I'm talking to myself, and I'm thinking, should you have done that, really? So it's funny just beating myself up over it.
Yeah. There's something about taking control and being the master of your ship. Yeah. And when we say like the energy was so strong, don't forget that's the person is
The
close.
person, yes. And
Yeah.
that's what I say, they're so overwhelming. They won't leave off.
Yeah.
Yes, so I know that.
But
Yeah.
don't forget, you can say to him, whoa, whoa, whoa.
That's what I do. When I say, hang on, step back, you know, take your pain away, because, you know, it's overwhelming, you know, because I'll get all these symptoms as well. And I think, right, take that away.
And you
So,
have to have the symptoms, don't you, to be able to
yes,
explain
yes,
how it feels.
yes.
But there's no need ever to, I'm speaking generally now,
Mhm.
to hold on to any thought that you've been given by them, any pain that you've been given by them,
Yeah,
heart attacks, cancer,
yeah.
anything. You just acknowledge it, and once you've
Take
acknowledged
it
it,
away.
it should go. This is part of your own development of yourself.
Yeah.
You agree with yourself that I've got a gentleman here, oh, he had a massive heart attack, right, that's gone.
Yeah.
And move on, keep moving on. And the faster that you listen, give, and forget, the easier your mediumship will get.
Yeah.
Because you're not waiting to hear something, you've said it.
Now, in the past, now see, when I was practicing a whole lot more in the past, that's when you get used to it, and after everything, you know, because you've experienced that before, you just hear the word heart attack, cancer, you know, anything died with, you know, I just hear it in words rather than, because I'd already experienced that. But it's like I'm starting all over again. That's how I feel. Like I'm starting all over again.
And maybe they want you to work a little bit of a different way.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
change. You know, see what how they do. Say, right, okay, I'm going to let you lead me now. I'm not going to do what I normally do. I'm not going to do anything. You just go for it. And the next person that comes through you, don't speak until they have spoken.
Mm.
Don't say anything at all. Say, right, okay, I know you're here. Right, are you going to tell me your name? What are you going to do? How are we going to do this? Rather than just blurt things out.
Yeah.
So maybe, you know, like Lorraine says, is it the right place to do it? Because most people will accept something, but are you able to say the nitty-gritty in a circumstances like that? Are you able to say, is the spirit person able to give the information that they really want that recipient to know in the circumstances that they find themselves in?
Yeah.
Because you see, the spirit world are no respecter of persons. If their daughter is sitting in a crowded cafe with you, they are going to say, I want to speak to my daughter. But maybe you could say, look, I know you know that I'm mediumistic, and you know I do have your father here, but would you like to just nip outside for 5 minutes so that we could have more privacy?
That's what I always do, because
Yeah,
if I'm
that's what I do in work anyway. That's what I do. I don't, you know, walk around the shop and say, oh yeah, you know, and you know, it's always in their time, and I say, right, I'll see you later. And that's what I do.
It's not like buy two
Yeah.
packets of bacon and a reading
No.
free.
No, I'll see you later.
I always say to spirit that, look, if you want this to happen, you're gonna have to get me and that person alone somewhere where I can speak to you. And 99.9% of the time, that can
They
be in a
do. They do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go to the loo, and the next thing you know, it's just me and the woman in the
Yeah.
loo. It's ridiculous like that. It always happens.
They're amazing though, aren't they?
yeah,
Well, yeah. Don't doubt spirit, yeah.
yeah. They certainly are, and that's what makes it so enjoyable. Then,
Yeah.
knowing that they're there for us, we don't have to work hard about it at all.
No.
The people say sometimes, like after an hour and a half gem, are you exhausted? No, because I haven't done anything. All I do is repeat.
People have asked me that too in the past, and they said, "Oh, you must be exhausted." I said, "Well, no."
I was in a high.
No.
Yeah. And
It does make you feel like that.
If you're not feeling very well, you can still deliver a 20-minute a message or something, and
because they normally take your pain away, don't they? So they, oh, I had a headache, but I don't now, but it comes back when you're finished. Yeah.
Yeah. I take funerals, and I've seen me go to a funeral in pain, headache, feeling sick, whatever, And the minute I get on the platform, oh, dearly beloved, you know. And then as I step down, I go, oh, going home
Back to normal.
go back to bed.
Yeah.
But they're clever little devils, aren't they? They want
Yeah.
us. Yeah. But what an honour to be part of their lives and
Yeah.
to be able to prove through the information they give us, quickly turning that information into evidence, because evidence is not evidence until it's been accepted.
Mhm.
The information's been accepted by the recipient. And what an honour to be able to do that and to prove that life is continuous, taking away the pain of the recipient and giving them knowledge that one day they will be together again, which we all will be. And it's probably the same for us all. None of us are afraid of making that one step into the spirit world. It's how we get there is the problem, isn't it? Yeah.
I'd just like to say, oh, what was I going to say? I feel absolutely honoured, like you said, of this wonderful gift
Yes.
that I've been given and able to use it to help others through this physical life.
Mm. But it's time now for us all to push ourselves out there. We need to raise the standards.
Yeah.
It's no more sitting in the chair saying, I'm a lady here, she's tall. Those days are gone. You've been doing that for too long.
Yeah.
It's time to push the boundaries and to say, I have a lady, you hang on a second. What's your name? Who do you come to speak to? Where is she? Yeah. And let her chat. And as she's chatting away and she's looking at you and saying, hang on a second, she's talking to me now. What is it you wanted to say? What job did you do? Right, I was a secretary. That's the word. She's forgotten, but she was a secretary. Why did you forget? She had Alzheimer's, didn't she? You see? So you're involved with this conversation as well, because she's involved you. See, but if you're missing all those things by not raising your standard, you're staying in the safe zone and it's boring. It's not good enough.
Yeah.
Thank you, Margaret. That's great.
Okay. Well, I'm going to leave you all there now. It's quarter past the hour, unless you've got some questions for me. I've enjoyed this evening in your company.
Yeah, it's lovely. Thank you.
Lovely,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. Yeah.